Happy October. The best time of year is here. 2 years ago, almost to this day, my partner and I moved to a small community on an island off the coast of British Columbia. And even though I have roots here and I've been coming up since I was a kid, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. It was a huge risk. We basically left our entire lives behind and started over here. So I thought I would just sit down and have tea and reflect on the last 2 years and let you know how it's been and what I've learned. This is not scripted, so I'm just going to talk and see what I come up with. Also, I'm not trying to promote rural living. I think that it takes a very particular type of person to enjoy living rurally. So this is just how it's been for me. So this video is for entertainment purposes only. Yes, it was October 4th, 2022, and it was so surreal arriving here. Knowing that we had no plans on leaving. We didn't have any sort of 5-year plan or anything. It was just like, let's go up here and just see what happens. See if we can find work. See if the community accepts us. See if the island accepts us. I'm happy to say that we feel very accepted. The first thing I need to mention is I am so tuned in to the little things that bring me joy. And I'm so tuned in to gratitude. And it's not to say that I wasn't when I lived in the city, but here it just feels amplified because I have so much more time and space to just sit with myself and sit in the present and be in the moment and just realize how rich I actually am. And I do not mean financially. Just the other night, Tyler and I were sitting on the couch and we had our kitty with us and we were watching our show that we like, and I was just looking outside at the ocean and having a moment of gratitude of just like, this is incredible. This is heaven. If heaven exists, this is what it would be for me. So simple. And I feel that living here has given me so many of those moments. And I really do feel rich. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. On a totally different note, I've discovered that I'm not a very adventurous chef. There isn't really an option for eating out or ordering in here, so you have to cook all your meals. And I've discovered that I eat the same things over and over again, and my diet is incredibly simple. And it's fine. Like, I have no plans or a need to change that. It's just something I didn't know about myself. Just having to come up with meals to make all the time, I just realized how uncreative I am in that realm. But it's okay. Also, there's just always dishes. There's always dishes. You can't escape them. There's always dishes to do. I have become so much more in touch with myself. I've talked about this in previous vlogs, but I really lost touch with who I was for a long time. Artistically and spiritually, individually, I didn't know. I was so scattered all over the place, trying to make ends meet, trying to please everybody, trying to look a certain way or be perceived a certain way. I don't know. But here, I just don't do that. I'm completely... My cat's in the window. Hi! He wants to come outside. He was outside. He caught a really big dragonfly and he was playing with it in the living room, but I guess he's probably killed it now. He's a murderer. I'm gonna let him out. Hi, baby. Since the events of a few weeks ago when he didn't come home, we now have a tracker collar on him, so just in case he goes missing again, we can at least see on our phones where he is. I may have overreacted a little bit. I was just scared. I just love him. I am so much more in tune with myself, and it's because of having space and time to do so. I am no longer in a hustly bustly lifestyle. I have time, and I love to be able to make my own schedule for my day and be able to actually carve out time in the day to do nothing. That's not something I've ever done before. And when I say do nothing, I just mean have a moment to just have like specific times during the day where it is put aside specifically for journaling, for creative thinking, for stretching my body, for going for a walk. It's just, those moments are just so precious and important. And I know I said at the beginning of the video that I'm not promoting rural living, but I am promoting making time for yourself, because even the first year of being here, having so much noise in my brain, like residual noise from living the life I was living before. It took me a year to adjust, and so much stuff came up, and I had to do a lot of work internally. Yeah. And I'm always going to be working on myself and learning and growing and stuff, but I really feel like I'm in a happy ever after moment. You know when you have those, it's important to acknowledge when you have a happy ever after, because we do. They just they change and they shift, but there are moments in our lives that are happy ever after moments, and I'm totally in one right now. Living here has also really made me appreciate the city. I go to the mainland pretty often, like a few times a year, for usually a good 3 weeks or something, mostly for work, but also to enjoy things and go to concerts and see people. And it's made me appreciate all the things I love about this city. Because before, I just wanted to escape. I just wanted to get away. I had so much anxiety, and I was just overstimulated in every sense of the word and needed to get out. But now when I go, it's very intentional. It's like, okay, I'm going specifically to see this movie in theaters and to go to this concert and to do this thing with this person. Like, it's very intentional, and I get to enjoy it. Down to the little things. Like, I am so looking forward to having a pumpkin spice latte at the end of the month, because that's not something you can do here. And what a gift it is to really see how fortunate we are to be able to do those things and get those things. And I just didn't see it that way before. But something as simple as going to the movie theater. There's no movie theater here, and I love going to the movies. When Dune Part 2 came out, I stayed an extra week on the mainland just so I could go see it opening night, because there was no way I was missing that on the big screen. And it was so worth it. It became this whole big event that I got to look forward to. So I just appreciate the little things so much more. I have creatively exploded. I'm on an actual path for the first time ever artistically. In the before times, before I moved here, I was just trying to make ends meet. It was like I was trying to build like 5 different businesses at once, because I wanted one of them to take off so that it could pay my bills. And when you're spreading yourself among 5 different things, it's really hard for any of them to reach their potential. And that's kind of where I was floundering for a really long time. But now I'm just really focused in on what I'm doing, and I'm able to focus on one thing at a time. I've been able to move so much of my teaching online so I can do it from here, and then I get to teach a lot of the kids here in the community. And because there's not a whole lot of options for extracurricular activities for kids, I get business. It's being a big fish in a small pond rather than being a small fish in a big pond, which I was a small fish in a big pond for, 31 years. I've learned I love to be by myself, and I think that is something that you have to genuinely love if you're going to live rurally. Because I'm making it sound like it's all great and wonderful, but I can understand why somebody might not want to be here full time. And I think a big part of what keeps me happy and keeps me sane is the fact that I go to the mainland a few times a year to kind of get my fill of city and people. And then I can come back here for 3 months and not see anybody and just work on my projects. I imagine this lifestyle works really well if you are a creative who values their alone creative time above everything else. And before I sat down to make this video, I was like, okay, I want to talk about all kinds of things, positive and negatives. I don't want it to be like, I'm flexing my amazing life. Because yes, there are pros and cons. But one thing that I'm going to shamelessly flex on is my relationship. I think a big part of why I'm so happy here is because of my relationship. Tyler and I work together really well, and we just support each other in every way. And on top of that, we just have a lot of fun together. So I think that has a very big effect on my happiness here. So I had to mention that. I think the last thing I'm going to mention in this reflection is that I am so much more confident in my own judgment and in following my own compass than I was 2 years ago. Not everybody understood my decision to move up here, And I had a lot of folks tell me that they didn't think it would last and that it was a bad move for my career, etc. Not everybody, a lot of people were supportive, and I think the reaction I got the most was confusion from people. But I had to follow my instinct, and I did, and I am now forever going to be more confident for future instincts as they come up, because I know what's best for me. And that's not something that I could confidently say 2 years ago. And I'm really glad that I took this risk. So to sum up, I love it here. I have no plans on leaving. And I'm so much more confident and colorful and creative than I was 2 years ago. And if you get anything from this video other than entertainment or just a voice you can put on in the background while you do stuff, trust your instincts. Because they're probably right. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week. Bye.